no hospitals, no supplements, no doctors or dentists. And yet, Agafia Lykova is stronger and healthier than many living in the modern Western world. Isolated in the depths of the Siberian Taiga, with very little sunlight, no technology, and no access to modern medicine, she thrives where most would struggle to survive. This is her story. 80 years of survival against all odds. No healthcare system, no internet, no artificial vitamins, just instinct, resilience, and old-world traditions. In this documentary, we explore why Agafia Lykova defies everything science and medicine tell us about survival and health. Before we get started, like and subscribe to our channel. In the freezing, remote wilderness of Siberia, far from civilization, lives an extraordinary woman who has defied everything we've been told is essential for life. Agafia Lykova is Russia's last true hermit. No phone, no electricity, no technology, no medical care. And yet, she thrives. Born into a family of old believers, which is an ancient sect of Orthodox Christianity, Agafia was raised in near total isolation, hidden deep within the taiga. Her family fled to the mountains in 1936, escaping brutal religious persecution under Stalin's Soviet regime, which arose after the Bolshevik Revolution. Agafia's father, Lykov, remembered a dark chapter in early Christian history, the persecution of believers under the Roman Emperor Decius in the 3rd century. Referring to the 7 sleepers, a legend about 7 young men who took refuge in a cave to escape religious persecution and miraculously fell into a deep sleep, only to awaken centuries later. To him, what was happening in Soviet Russia was no different. The old believers, including the Lykovs, believed the world was falling into apostasy. They saw the new Soviet society as an antichrist society, godless, corrupt, and hostile to sacred tradition and God's law. So, they separated themselves entirely from it. They went far into the Siberian wilderness, not to escape life, but to preserve their faith. They did not leave with watches, cars, gold, or worldly possessions. They left with seeds, because seeds multiply life. All food begins with seeds, and seeds are freedom. As the saying goes, whoever controls seeds controls life on earth. The Lykovs understood this truth long before it became a global concern. While the world raced toward industrial farming and dependence, they clung to the source, the beginning, the sacred power of nature. Agafia was born in 1944 in complete isolation. Her family had no idea World War II had even ended. She learned to read and write from a 400-year-old Bible, her only textbook, her moral compass, and her survival guide that became her spiritual light. Her life is rooted in natural law, a higher order that transcends any modern scientific systems, not just a belief, but a holistic, organic way of life. She receives many visitors who are fascinated by her story. She told visiting journalists from Vice in 2013 that barcodes were the stamp of the Antichrist. She added that if anyone gives her something, such as a packet of seeds, with a barcode on it, she takes the contents out and burns the packet, which is a reference to a biblical prophecy from the Book of Revelation about the end of the world. At nearly 85 years old, Agafia still continues her daily rhythms with astounding vitality. She wakes up before sunrise. She prays. She bakes bread from hand-ground flour. She gathers wood, rekindles the fire, feeds her goats and cats, and tends to her crops. There is no internet, no medications, no biohacking tools, no fancy cold plunges, and yet her health remains strong. While most 80-year-olds in the Western world are confined to nursing homes, stripped of independence, and often abandoned to the care of strangers, Agafia continues to live with purpose, strength, and self-reliance. She has never taken a pharmaceutical drug. She has never had a dental checkup. She survives Siberian winters, where temperatures drop below -40 and the sun disappears for 2 months. What is her secret? Agafia lives with nothing but faith, discipline, and God. Because when you have God, you have everything. She is the embodiment of self-reliance. Her crops are grown with no synthetic chemicals and contain more nutrients than supermarket vegetables. Her immune system, unharmed by vaccines and unbothered by the waves of modern illnesses. Her mind is untouched by dopamine loops, social media, and digital noise. She eats very little, only with what the land provides. She remains in a state of fasting most of the time. She rests and sleeps when it's dark. She rises and prays when it's light. Her circadian rhythm is perfectly aligned with nature. Agafia's entire existence contradicts everything science tells us is necessary for our well-being. She lacks everything we're told we need, but she thrives. Meanwhile, here in the modern world, we are overwhelmed by chronic diseases, mental health issues, and technological dependence. We are overstimulated, overmedicated, overfed, and overconsumed, yet undernourished in body, mind, and soul. We have thousands of followers on social media, yet we feel painfully alone. We do the yogi mantras, the manifestations, the sage burning, the journaling, yet we are spiritually empty because our life has no meaning. We are slaves to human idols. We need gadgets to sleep. We need trackers to breathe. We need biohacking tools, IV drips, grounding mats, and wellness retreats just to feel okay. We outsource our vitality to corporations. We place our trust in algorithms, medical science, and artificial intelligence. We measure health in data points, numbers, and biomarkers. And we treat symptoms instead of healing causes. We don't want to grow old gracefully. Instead, we try to prolong our life and delay death at all costs. We chase youth with injections, pills, surgeries, and cryotherapy. We fear wrinkles more than we fear moral decay. We worship longevity, but forget how to live meaningfully. We have become obsessed with anti-aging instead of understanding the wisdom of aging. Our fear of death has made us afraid of life and living. We extend our days, but hollow out their meaning. And in clinging to immortality, we have lost our humanity. We rely heavily on fragile external systems, especially a modern medical establishment that exalts doctors as gods. Agafia, on the other hand, depends only on the inner system of faith, natural rhythm, and a divine higher order. Her peace does not come from products. Her strength does not come from stimulants, and her clarity does not come from humans. It comes from God and the stillness of a soul that remembers where it came from and where it is going. Agafia's life isn't merely about survival. It's a spiritual message for the modern soul and a living example of what it means have God in the driving seat of your life. She lives in complete harmony with all of creation, tending to her crops with care and treating her animals with gentleness and love. Her compassion isn't something she learned from people, but from the sacred pages of her 400-year-old Bible. In a world driven by consumption, noise, and artificial comforts, she reminds us of the truths we've forgotten. That simplicity is powerful, that nature provides us with everything that we need, that solitude is sacred and healing, and that we don't need a lot of stuff to survive. Her life is a prayer in motion, a testament to human endurance and faith. One day, we too may have to flee the noise and chaos of modern living. Flee the tribulations of a controlled system we live in. And when that day comes, perhaps we'll remember Agafia and the last old believer, who showed us that you don't need much to live, and to live by faith in God and not in man. Sooner or later, all of us must follow her example if we are to find what we are really looking for.